The air in a narrow corridor was filled with the smell of blood. People were fighting against each other until the last breath. That was how Korean gangs in the end of 20th century won a vantage position. Junimo saw his beloved in the chaos of the fight. He didn't understand why she was here. He picked up a knife and massacred each thugs. Junimo's face was full of blood. A few months ago, he was a simple and kind man. He had a beautiful wife named Eui Jong. Their marriage would have been happier if he wasn't just a normal police officer. While his wife's family had high status in society, Eui Jong had higher rank and status than him. Junimo was a normal officer working in the countryside. He had given a lot of thought to her family's disdain and criticism. Eui Jong consoled him. She didn't care about what her family said. However, Junimo couldn't let them treat him that way. One day, Sung Hyun, a member of anti-smuggling investigation department, found him. He asked Junimo to join his newly formed crime organization. This was a huge responsibility for a normal officer like him. Junimo didn't risk his life for that. However, the salary for this case was a number he had never earned in his life. Not only Sung Hyun but also the chief prosecutor was trying to persuade Junimo. He knew that Junimo was a kind man, was very good at fighting. No one else but Junimo could help them in the campaign. Junimo slept on it at night, looking at their wedding photo. Even with his military rank was lower than her, so he made up his mind. The next morning, Sung Hyun took him to a slum for a meeting with the chief prosecutor. Instead of a reward, Junimo offered another one. He wanted to be promoted. That was what he always wanted, to be worthy of his wife. The chief prosecutor agreed with him because this mission's reward, because their mission was worth more than that. Junimo had to approach Ji Chul, who took over all the bars in Gangnam. Of course, he got rich by trading drug. One day, a girl got high and hurt herself at a bar. The police could tell that Ji Chul's gang traded drug nationwide. Ji Chul's gang wasn't simple. Ji Chul was a nameless DJ before, until one day he was noticed by his boss. He promised to let him run a bar as long as he could increase the number of his juniors, while later, he became the leader of a gang in Gangnam's night streets. One day, his bar got in trouble. When he came, a man was getting high and abusing the barmaids. Ji Chul was about to give him a lesson. But when Ji Chul knew that was a rich man, Ji Chul couldn't touch someone like him, so he asked his boss to let him run the bar. However, the boss asked him for a development plan before giving him the right of control. Ji Chul shared about his plan to turn Gangnam into a center of drug. The boss nodded and slapped Ji Chul. He said they couldn't do anything related to drug, which was way too dangerous. After that, he said Ji Chul wasn't a qualified manager, so he didn't keep his words. However, he didn't know that when a mouse led an army of mice, they could take a whole granary. After discussing with his brothers, Ji Chul rapidly handled the boss's henchmen. When he took over the event of baseball from the boss, he found for a right-hand man, who was good at fighting, and fighter Seo joined his team. The following day, Ji Chul's gang and his boss went to the event of baseball. The boss raised a doubt as the event was deserted, but he didn't pay too much attention. He would never know what was waiting for him when the night fell. The clock struck 3 o'clock at night. Ji Chul was ready for an important fight. He left his gun in the room for a fair fight even though he was betraying, with the support of Seo from outside. Ji Chul and his armed gang entered each room. They defeated the boss's inferiors. The hotel was turned into a place of a dogfight. One of the rivals sneaked out and activated the fire alarm to alert the boss. The boss couldn't expect that Ji Chul dared to betray him. His inferiors were much older and weaker compared to Ji Chul's men. Ji Chul himself was a skilled fighter. They threw each man in white from above. With Seo's strength, Ji Chul was holding the upper hand. The boss realized the problem and ran away. Stuck in the dining room, he had no choice but to surrender. Taeho, the henchman of Ji Chul, handcuffed the boss. They took his watch to boast their victory. Taeho didn't notice that the boss just picked up a pair of scissors. The boss used it to stab Taeho's heart. Ji Chul got panicked when Taeho was bleeding. The boss just ended the life of Ji Chul's best friend, being at deadly feud with the boss. Ji Chul had a dash against the boss. He stabbed him multiple times with Seo's knife, finishing him off in the astonishment of Seo. Ji Chul was 100 times more savage than Seo. The boss's dynasty completely collapsed. These gangs of thugs do not work alone. They worked for rich man. Ji Chul went to see the tycoon and told him, "My boss betrayed you and fled away." Yet, the tycoon didn't buy into Ji Chul. Ji Chul's gang was surrounding the tycoon's home and ready to get rid of him once they took order from Ji Chul. As a result, the tycoon gave Ji Chul the right of controlling Gangnam. Ji Chul immediately accomplished his goals in his post. He came to find Professor Yoon, who was an expert in producing drug. Junimo's mission was to penetrate into Ji Chul's gang for an investigation. As soon as he joined the campaign, he was no longer Junimo, he would be Sung-ho, cousin of Taeho. Lost his life by Ji Chul's boss. Tae-ho was G.I. Chul's best friend. This new identity would help Junimo approach him more easily. The campaign started and Junimo became Sung-ho was unemployed. He went to G.I. Chul's restaurant and asked to see G.I. Chul with a loud voice. He took down those who tried to kick him out. G.I. Chul heard about the chaos there, so he went there to see who dared to make a mess at his place. Seeing Junimo, G.I. Chul thought he was just a drunkard asking for money. Sung-ho wore the watch that Tae-ho took from the former boss and successfully attracted G.I. Chul's attention. Sung-ho introduced himself as Tae-ho's cousin. He came there to find the one who took his cousin's life. Sung-ho kept cursing with full of aggression. In the eyes of G.I. Chul and his men, Sung-ho was an ignorant guy. Even though he still had many doubts, G.I. Chul still gave him a card visit. Sung-ho's first step was done. G.I. Chul wasn't a fool. He immediately went to see Tae-ho and asked for it. After his son's death, he became an alcohol addict. G.I. Chul gave him a thick wad of money, but Tae-ho's father gave him back. He didn't want to see G.I. Chul ever again. Besides, he confirmed that Tae-ho had a cousin who loved Tae-ho a lot, so he knew why Sung-ho got mad. After that, G.I. Chul no longer doubted Sung-ho. In fact, it was the police's plan. The following day, Sung-ho went to G.I. Chul's office. Sung-ho appeared as an imperious freeloader. G.I. Chul gave Sung-ho a thick wad of money. "Take this money and leave here for good," Sung-ho replied. "I don't want money. I want a revenge." Sung-ho then threw the money at G.I. Chul. His action incited G.I. Chul's men. G.I. Chul still looked calm. His men knew what he wanted through his glance. They took a few steps back. Only 3 biggest guys fought against Sung-ho. A battle occurred. Sung-ho didn't play second fiddle to the 3 fighters. 3 against 1 wasn't fair. Sung-ho fell to the ground. They thought he would surrender and leave. Sung-ho wasn't commonplace. He stood up and fought harder. It seemed that he wanted to end their lives. All the furniture in the office were used as weapons. Having regard for G.I. Chul, Sung-ho was easier on his men. After knocking them down, he left with a face full of blood. Sung-ho claimed to take a revenge by himself. He wasn't kidding at all. G.I. Chul's myrmidons saw G.I. Chul handling out leaflets while they were going the rounds. Sung-ho was finding for the former boss of G.I. Chul. His efforts were in vain. G.I. Chul finally gave Sung-ho a call. As agreed, Sung-ho went to an abandoned tavern to see G.I. Chul. G.I. Chul asked Sung-ho to join his gang. Sung-ho was a good fighter who had the same enemy. A group of thugs interrupted their talk. One of the henchmen of G.I. Chul's, he came to find the subordinates of Jang Kyung-chul. He used their feud to provoke him and ask him for help to overthrow G.I. Chul. While G.I. Chul was alone, the remnants of Jang Kyung-chul ambushed him. Sung-ho was surprised at their appearance. G.I. Chul told Sung-ho that they took Tae-ho's life. Sung-ho lit a cigarette. Together, they fought against the thugs. Those thugs were no match for Sung-ho. Alone, he could take all of them down, but actually the price to pay for ignorance is expensive, because there was no betrayal. When Sung-ho took it out of the thugs, G.I. Chul's gang surrounded the place. It was just a trap set up by G.I. Chul to get rid of the remnants of Jang Kyung-chul. The chaos between 2 gangs occurred. G.I. Chul's gang was overpowering their rivals. Sung-ho was finally accepted to the gang. Sung-ho witnessed them torture the leader. G.I. Chul was a cold-blooded handsome guy. He tormented his enemy in different ways. Sung-ho was truly terrified witnessing the brutal world. In fact, G.I. Chul arranged it to forewarn Song Dong-hyuk. Song Dong-hyuk used the remnants of Jang's gang to eliminate G.I. Chul, as G.I. Chul paid tribute to Song Dong-hyuk every month. He used the dogfight to cut off a connection with Song. From then on, G.I. Chul wouldn't pay Song any penny. G.I. Chul took Sung-ho to a bar which he built for Tae-ho. Since Tae-ho left the world, G.I. Chul wanted Sung-ho to take it over. From then on, Sung-ho was recognized a member of Gangnam organization. Sung-ho thought he successfully approached the target. Sung-ho started with going the rounds. He patrolled the streets every day. He couldn't stay next to G.I. Chul. Junimo complained with Do-hyun about that. Do-hyun asked him to wait for a chance. Junimo forgot that he had a wife. Since her husband didn't come home for such a long time, Uijong called the police station to find him. They said he quit the job. Junimo explained it to his husband. Amidst their conversation, Junimo was put in a hot spot. G.I. Chul and his men also came to the eatery. Junimo was bewildered. He introduced Uijong as his classmate. The thing was that G.I. Chul and Uijong knew each other well. They dated each other when they were younger. G.I. Chul still had feelings for Uijong. He was surprised seeing her again. G.I. Chul wondered why Sung-ho was a friend of a police officer like Uijong. Uijong didn't know that her care for Junimo aka Sung-ho put him in danger. G.I. Chul beat Sung-ho up to ask for the truth. Sung-ho said his father was an addict, so she cared about him a bit. They were just friends since childhood. G.I. Chul's henchmen didn't buy into him. They were scared of police the most. G.I. Chul was a bit soft-hearted as that was Uijong, so he forgave Sung-ho. It was Sung-ho who got worried. because he could see Ji Chul's feelings for his wife. Furthermore, Eui Jong had the same necklace as the one on Ji Chul's neck. Ji Chul couldn't move on yet. He always cherished the necklace. Junimo was out of sorts. He asked Eui Jong about her relationship with Ji Chul and she said they were close friends, and they didn't have deep feelings with each other. Her words made him less worry. However, Ji Chul was beware of Sung Ho, so he sent a man on errand to dig into Eui Jong and her husband. The man ran on errands was an ex-policeman. He paid an officer a lot for their information. Their profiles were sent to Ji Chul, information about Eui Jong and her husband. Reading the file, Ji Chul asked Sung Ho for a talk. Was he exposed? Sung Ho came close to Ji Chul with anxiety. He was ready to fight back once he was exposed. Unexpectedly, Do Hyun's photo was on the file as Eui Jong's husband. Junimo sighed with relief. He said he had never seen Eui Jong's husband. When Ji Chul asked, Ji Chul no longer doubted him and let him go. The police officer who sold their information was also dealt with by the chief prosecutor. Junimo thought Ji Chul was still in doubt. Trust should still be created at the moment between life and death. After a discussion with the team, Junimo continued living as Sung Ho. He discovered something unusual. On the patrol, Sung Ho and his partner saw a strange van. The passengers were all in black masks. Sung Ho decided to follow them. They stormed into Ji Chul's office with weapons. Somehow, Ji Chul was there alone at that time. Hearing the noise, he defended himself with a gun. However, there were too many of them. He couldn't take them down with just a gun. Sung Ho and his partner came. It was a chaos. The attackers turned off the lights so Ji Chul couldn't distinguish them. Sung Ho risked his life to save Ji Chul. A moment later, Sung Ho gave it a sign. The attackers quickly withdrew. It was the play set up by the police. It wasn't meaningless to get an injury in his head. After the incident, Ji Chul put more trust in Sung Ho, and he let Sung Ho be his bodyguard. Young Bae, the right-hand man of Ji Chul, didn't agree with that. He believed that Sung Ho had a connection with the police. Ji Chul said only Sung Ho was there when he was in danger. Young Bae listened to him. Sung Ho was allowed to work in the office and given the password to come in and out. Of course, Young Bae didn't let him know more, but this was also a big step forward. Sung Ho reported it to Do Hyun and started to work. On the first day as a bodyguard, Sung Ho escorted him out. They went to the hospital where Junimo's mother-in-law was having a cancer treatment. Afraid of being exposed, Sung Ho wanted to stay outside. He was very uncomfortable when Ji Chul tried to get closer to Eui Jong's mother. Moreover, he also really wanted to visit his mother-in-law, but he wasn't allowed. Ji Chul treated Eui Jong's mother as his own. He agreed with her to be a good guy. As soon as he finished speaking, he got a call from his adoptive father. He told Ji Chul about Young's plan to get rid of him. Ji Chul didn't say much and just told his adoptive father to follow his plan. When he hung up the phone, Young lost his life. Young had no idea that Ji Chul was actually the adopted son of the most notorious gangster in Japan, Kanemoto. Who made money had the right to live. As Young lost his life, Young's right-hand man held Kanemoto's secretary hostage to find a way to run. The police investigated the missing of Young in Japan, because he was a colonel who was digging into the drug trade between two countries. Junimo gathered around to figure it out. Sung Ho showed them the photos of Ji Chul's hideout, on a certain day every month. They all would go fishing so their hideout would be empty. Junimo sneaked into Ji Chul's office and took photos of everything. Junimo reckoned that they would trade drug on the day fishing. Something unfortunate happened. Young Bae found a flashlight with the logo of the police. Why was police's stuff in their place? They gradually realized that those who attacked Ji Chul that night were the police. They reported it to Ji Chul. Putting it aside, they still continued their work, yet, another gang was in their way. They held Young Bae hostage. They underestimated Ji Chul. Ji Chul crashed the car. The kidnapper were striped off and tortured on a field. Sung Ho was summoned there. Ji Chul wanted to see how savage Sung Ho was. As long as Sung Ho ended the kidnapper's life, Ji Chul would no longer consider him a police. Sung Ho was struggling with himself when Ji Chul gave him a gun. As he was a police officer, he couldn't take someone's life even that was a criminal. Sung Ho took too long to pull the trigger. The fighter named Seo said he needed time to get used to it. In a nick of time, he snatched the gun and fired it. It was the first time Sung Ho witnessed something like that. Sung Ho's face turned pale, while Ji Chul peacefully returned to the office. Together, they analyzed Sung Ho. Ji Chul dug into Sung Ho's father and it was true that his father was an addict. His henchmen still doubted Sung Ho as he befriended Eui Jong. They thought Eui Jong ordered Sung Ho to dig into them. Ji Chul had no doubt about Eui Jong at all. He believed that Eui Jong wouldn't treat him that way. To enhance Ji Chul's trust, Eui Jong also joined the campaign. Eui Jong asked Ji Chul out for a drink. Needless to say, Ji Chul came as promised. Sung Ho escorted him there. He followed Ji Chul to see who he was seeing. and he saw in awe that Ji Chul was meeting up with his wife. Do Hyun explained to him that Eui Jong just joined their team. Junamo didn't agree because it was way too dangerous. He blamed Do Hyun for putting his wife in danger, but that was the duty of a police officer. Because of their mission, Junamo and Eui Jong considered each other friends. Junamo even drove his wife and her ex around the streets. He even saw how much Ji Chul cared for his wife. Eui Jong lied to him that she had a divorce long ago. That was a good news for Ji Chul. While Junamo swallowed the leak, back to his office, Ji Chul even told Junamo that he would meet Eui Jong more often. Early in the morning, Ji Chul woke up Sung-ho. Ji Chul gave Sung-ho a suit, but something Junamo didn't expect happened. Eui Jong's mother passed away. Junamo couldn't attend the funeral because her family would expose him. Standing outside, he felt so sorry and worried about his wife. When Ji Chul arrived, Eui Jong rolled her eyes to find her husband. They could only give each other a glance of care from afar. When Eui Jong saw Ji Chul off, Junamo tried to stay calm, though he was also in grief. Something unexpected happened. Eui Jong's nephew called for his uncle. Everything would be ended if he ran towards Junamo. Fortunately, Do Hyun stretched out the hand and hugged the kid. Ji Chul thought Do Hyun was Eui Jong's ex-husband. To avoid being seen by family members, Eui Jong had a talk with Ji Chul outside. Once again, Junamo how Ji Chul comforted his wife. To save the situation, Do Hyun showed up. He asked Ji Chul not to interfere with their family affair. Yet, Ji Chul blamed Do Hyun for never visiting his mother-in-law and neither letting his wife alone. His words hurt Junamo badly. When Ji Chul got in the car, Sung-ho made an excuse to go to the toilet. In fact, he wanted to bid a farewell to his mother-in-law. The chief prosecutor and Do Hyun stopped him from exposing himself. Junamo could only knelt down from afar. His mother-in-law had encouraged him a lot. The only one in his wife's family didn't look down on him. At night, Ji Chul asked him for a drink. Junamo got himself drunk on wine to forget about it. Ji Chul asked Junamo to help him conquer Eui Jong's heart. Junamo laughed out loud when a criminal wanted to flirt with his wife. Despite being under influence, Junamo still agreed for the sake of his mission. In exchange, he wanted Ji Chul to help him advance his career. After a drink with Ji Chul, Junamo called his wife to say sorry for not being by her side when she needed him the most. Jung's secretary returned to revenge for his boss. He used all his fortune to hire a gang of mercenaries for getting rid of Ji Chul. In order to eliminate Ji Chul, they tried to buy his men off and persuaded them to rebel and betray. As always, Ji Chul went fishing. Before their departure, one of Ji Chul's henchmen couldn't go with them because his wife was in labor, so Ji Chul needed someone to replace him. And that was Junamo. Despite Yungbei's disagreement, Junamo was still allowed to come. On the way, Junamo wondered why they split into two teams and departed at night. Ji Chul didn't tell him. Yungbei said the tire had a hole so he couldn't keep moving. Right after that, two cars were approaching them. Junamo knew something was wrong. Soon, they were surrounded by strange cars. It was like an army got off the cars. They dashed to Ji Chul's car and smashed his car. Someone broke the door and waved a knife at Ji Chul. Junamo grabbed Ji Chul's gun. He decided to shoot the attackers to save Ji Chul. Junamo didn't have a choice. Instead of shooting in the head of the attacker in the car, he shot the ones behind him. As the number of the army was decreased, the leader ordered his men to aim at Ji Chul. Ji Chul grabbed a chance to get out of the car and fought against. He could avoid the strikes of the attackers. However, he couldn't stand it for too long, so when Sung-ho was trying to fight back, he took time to load the gun. While loading the gun, he remembered that his henchmen let him travel alone. There must have been one of them who betrayed. When Ji Chul pointed his gun at the attackers, Sung-ho stopped Ji Chul from a bloodbath. For this reason, he got a brutal stab in the back. Without further ado, Ji Chul kept firing the gun. Jung's secretary was shot. The fighter named Seo was waiting from a distance. He decided to save Ji Chul instead of Betrayal. Once he appeared, the situation was turned over. All the attackers were taken down. 3 victims got in the car. Ji Chul was extremely worried when Sung-ho kept bleeding. He took Sung-ho to the hospital and waited for him outside of the emergency room. Ji Chul's client kept calling him. However, he no longer cared as he was trying to figure out who was the traitor. Till when the surgery was done, Ji Chul called his adoptive father to say sorry. What happened last night caused a big loss for them. Yungbei apologized for his flat tire. Ji Chul asked him out as he didn't want to hear. Seo dug into it following the order of Ji Chul. Seo came to the auto repair that Yungbei told. The tire was breached. After that, Seo came to see the other henchman of Ji Chul. It was true that his wife gave birth last night. Finally, he questioned the blonde guy. All of those knew about the fishing day. The other person left was Sung-ho. However, he was severely injured, so it wasn't him. After what happened, Ji Chul trusts Sung-ho the most. However, Ji-chul still didn't tell him about the fishing day. Seo came to report what he had found out. It seemed that Ji-chul could tell who was the betrayal, so he summoned all the gang to punish him. In spite of his serious injury, he was taken to the gang within the day. Before the departure, the fat guy had a stomachache, taking advantage of this opportunity. Do-hyun sneaked into the ambulance to visit Junamo. Junamo told Do-hyun to catch the blonde guy. That was the traitor. He leaked it when taking Junamo to the ambulance. If the police didn't get him sooner, he would be eliminated for sure. As expected, the blonde guy packed it up to flee. The police came to his home to protect him. They were too late because Ji-chul already caught him, and he now was dying under torture. He betrayed and caused a huge damage, enough grounds to sentence him to death. Ji-chul let Sung-ho decide whether to keep him alive or not, because he almost lost his life. However, Junamo just beat the blonde guy up, and asked Ji-chul to spare him. Ji-chul spared him on one condition: that he would never show up again. Handling the traitor, Junamo and Seo were allowed to join the meeting. Yoongbei was very displeased with that. He still didn't completely trust the two of them. It was an obvious evidence when Sung-ho risked his life to save Ji-chul. Yoongbei couldn't deny. Then Ji-chul talked about drug trading. The suppliers were very angry about last night, so they would travel from China to South Korea for a direct trading. Ji-chul had to comfort them to ensure the source of drug. The police heard the news. The chief prosecutor had a way to help Junamo approach the Chinese suppliers by luring Ji-chul away. Yu Jong was assigned with the task. He cancelled the schedule after she called him out. He let Sung-ho serve the Chinese suppliers. Yoongbei didn't expect that Ji-chul bought into Sung-ho instead of Yoongbei. Seo was under order to find the truth. Junamo and Seo leagued together to replace Ji-chul's henchmen. Seo disguised as a policeman to question Young's secretary. The secretary kept denying a league with Yoongbei. No matter how he answered, Seo still took his life. In the meantime, Ji-chul had a talk with Yoongbei. He emphasized the trust and loyalty. Seo called Ji-chul about his report. Their conversation seemed not comfortable. Yoongbei mentioned the relationship between Ji-chul and Yu Jong. That would put the whole gang into danger. Ji-chul was extremely conservative. Speaking of her, he considered his choice was right, because he couldn't see this. Yu Jong was surprised when Junamo was home. She gave him a hug. During the meal, Junamo said Ji-chul already bought into him so he could get home to see her. Yu Jong didn't want to talk about their mission. She just wanted a cozy meal with her husband. The following morning, she went out with Ji-chul. They both went to church where they usually came when they were younger. Recalling their history, Ji-chul held her hand. Yu Jong silently looked at the surroundings. She was buying time for Junamo to meet the Chinese suppliers. He didn't expect that was a young girl. Junamo wondered why she could speak Korean. He thought only Chinese people who were over 50 were naturalized in South Korea. She just smirked, and asked if he didn't know about counterfeit passport. Finishing her words, she took off her disguise, appearing as a chic lady. After taking her to the hotel, Junamo reported it to Do-hyun. He heard that his wife was going out with Ji-chul. Junamo got mad and blamed Do-hyun for putting her in danger. He got out of the car with anger, and bumped into a man who didn't look like an ordinary person. Junamo didn't know that man was the secretary of Ji-chul's adoptive father. After talking to the Chinese lady on the phone, Ji-chul returned to the dining table with Yu Jong. Dining at a fancy restaurant was his promise to her when they were younger. Yu Jong didn't really care. She only asked about his work and brothers. He felt like she was investigating him. It made him a bit unhappy. He then took a tissue and drew her face on it. On the way home, she reminded her of the old days when seeing the tissue. They were very happy together back then. He indeed promised her that he would ran the bars and take her to fancy restaurants. Ji-chul came to the hotel to see the Chinese lady. She was daughter of a drug baron. She came on behalf of her father to deal with this. Junamo waited for them outside. Ji-chul coaxed her with an amount of money. However, the amount was nothing for her. Lee Hae-ryan didn't like the way he handled the situation. She said she would talk to the Japanese suppliers first and 3 parties would gather later. Junamo reported it to the police. His team decided to ambush the criminals while they were trading. The following morning, Tsuyoshi Oyama called them. Ji-chul took Sung-ho with him and asked the others waiting outside. However, 2 officers headed off their car. They received a report from the attackers the other day. They wanted to grab the chance to arrest Ji-chul. Ji-chul went straight to the meeting place instead of talking to the police. However, the officers followed after him. The investigation team already laid an ambush. Each officer hid in ambush as planned. Lee Hae-ryan and her secretary came. From afar, Junamo saw Tatsuo Tsukiyuchi frisking them. It was a bit dangerous because Junamo brought along a bug. Do-hyun got nervous outside. When Tsuyoshi Oyama frisked Junamo, Do-hyun asked someone to ring the fire alarm. Junamo volunteered to check it out. He put the bug into the pack of cigarette as it was frisked earlier. thanks to this, he could pass the frisk. But it was in vain because Tsuyoshi Oyama was very careful. He gathered the bodyguards of 3 parties in a room, and turned up the music to make sure they couldn't hear anything from outside, so the police's plan was broken. G.I. Chul was kicked out of the gang because he cancelled the trading the other day, and if he didn't want that to happen, he had to stand in the lobby with an envelope of money. It would mean the police didn't find them yet if no one came to see him. G.I. Chul did it as required. There were many people observing them around the house. Neither the police nor G.I. Chul's gang didn't know what was going on. Yungbei realized something wrong, so they withdrew. Do-hyun gave a sign for the police to stop. While G.I. Chul was waiting, his adoptive father kicked him out of the game. Kanemoto wanted to deal with the Chinese suppliers by himself. So far, he had used G.I. Chul as a sacrificial lamb. Lee Hae-ryan didn't want to change the way of trading. After 5 minutes, G.I. Chul came back. The officers earlier followed him inside. Members of Do-hyun's team were stunned. The negotiation was interrupted as the officers showed up. The Japanese guys and Hae-ryan ran away. Junimo stayed to stop the officers. Hwang Min-gu acted like a thug when giving Junimo wicked blows. Do-hyun sent some officers to stop Min-gu and his partner. It wasn't the right time, so Do-hyun let the criminals go this time. Hae-ryan had her eyes on Sung-ho when he saved her from a cut. She told G.I. Chul about what the Yakuza wanted. He begged Hae-ryan for another chance. Tsuyoshi Oyama told them to stop the trading as the officers had been there. He would contact them again a few days later. Hae-ryan asked G.I. Chul for a private talk. She didn't like the attitude of his adoptive father, so she chose to continue the transaction with him. In return, she wanted to stay with Sung-ho for a few days. However, Min-gu and his partner didn't let them alone. They went to G.I. Chul's office and hit his inferior. As Min-gu was too scary, they had to hand over one guy. Sung-ho volunteered to do that. G.I. Chul didn't agree to put him in jail. Sung-ho said he could handle it. In return, he asked G.I. Chul to let him join the transaction. As soon as he arrived at the police station, Sung-ho acted arrogantly. That got Min-gu's blood up, and Sung-ho was beaten up. Min-gu kept punching Sung-ho until his face was full of blood. He didn't know that he was beating up his colleague. The chief prosecutor came to the police station to save Junimo. Needless to say, Min-gu's boss had to say sorry to the chief prosecutor. Junimo was released and Seo was waiting for him from outside. He said the police released him after beating him up. Sung-ho came back to the office with bruises, yet, Yungbei still doubted him. He must have been very lucky when the chief prosecutor showed up at that time. G.I. Chul dismissed his suspicions, because Sung-ho was the one who dared to take the blame. G.I. Chul had no doubts about G.I. Chul. It was clear that he no longer had faith in Yungbei, which made Yungbei extremely dissatisfied. Yungbei came to see the errand boy and asked him dig into Sung-ho, because he still believed that Sung-ho was actually a cop. The following day, Sung-ho took Hae-ryan to the famous destinations as promised. They talked a lot and got closer. After a city tour, they came to a Japanese restaurant. Hae-ryan expressed her feelings to Sung-ho. She then showed Sung-ho something in a small box and taught him how to distinguish between low-quality and high-quality drug. Sung-ho lost his cool when seeing drug for the first time. High-quality drug wouldn't bubble up when she put it in water, and only her place could produce such a high-quality drug. However, she found it in G.I. Chul's bar. That means G.I. Chul got pickings from her drug. For this reason, she didn't want to work with him. Sung-ho heard about it for the first time. Despite that, he begged her for another chance. If possible, please leave the transaction to me. Are you betraying G.I. Chul? No, I will do much better than him. She wasn't convinced, so he made an excuse that they would have more time together if she agreed. Yet, she asked him to choose between money and love. Junimo reported it to Do-hyun. They needed to handle Yungbei, who was always beware of him. Yungbei was arrested for no reason. He was smart enough to parry police's questions. Junimo's purpose wasn't that simple. The police blockaded the bar. It was easy to find drug in Guy's pocket. They even exposed a celebrity when they checked out the VIP room. The undressed girls lay on the bed, and the idol was getting high in the bathroom. All of them were taken to the police station under the influence. They thought Yungbei tuned them in, because they were caught after he was released. G.I. Chul lost his faith in Yungbei when he was released after the police found the drug. The male idol made a noise there because he believed Yungbei tuned him in. This further reinforced his long-standing doubts. G.I. Chul kicked Yungbei out of his gang. Yungbei asked for a reason why. G.I. Chul figured out that Yungbei sneakily sold the drug without letting him know. Are you happy to make money behind me? Yungbei knew G.I. Chul changed since the day Sung-ho appeared. Everything was so perplexed when Sung-ho joined their gang. He was even fooled by love, and destroyed their long-term brotherhood. Finally, G.I. Chul still kicked him out. Yungbei gave Sung-ho a glance of feud. Seo was waiting for that for so long. As soon as the elevator opened, Seo slapped Yungbei around. In a few minutes, Yungbei was knocked out. However, the man ran on errand was the truly danger because he found out who Sung-ho was really are. Fortunately, the chief prosecutor heard about it. As soon as the man ran on errand went out, Junimo blocked his way. They stood on the rooftop in the rain. He threatened to tell Ji Chul the truth about Junimo. Junimo persuaded him to tune himself in for the clemency by the judge. However, only money was justice for him. Junimo snatched the file in his hand. Instead of fighting back, the criminal ran away. He risked his life to jump over the nearby building. His wrist was entangled with an electric wire. He fell down from the rooftop and lost his life. Junimo freaked out. He left with the file and the criminal's phone. Seeing his profile as a police officer, he couldn't imagine how he would end if Ji Chul found it. Junimo immediately found Do Hyun and the chief prosecutor. The prosecutor claimed that Ji Chul didn't know the truth. Yet, Junimo was so nervous because they even dug into Eui Jong's call history. That meant they had known something, and the married couple would face the truth sooner or later. Do Hyun got Junimo by the collar. At the same time, Eui Jong was meeting up with Ji Chul. Ji Chul prepared a requiem for her mother. Eui Jong was extremely touched. When Ji Chul stayed outside, he heard her talk with the nuns. Turns out she and Sung Ho didn't go to the same primary school. Ji Chul raised a doubt and sent some men to investigate them. He was on the watch for Sung Ho during their talk. Also, he no longer totally bought into Eui Jong. When Eui Jong asked him out again, he told her to visit his office. After that, he called Hae Ryan. Finally, four of them met at once. Junimo was uncomfortable when his wife was with Ji Chul. Same as Eui Jong, she couldn't be happy when Hae Ryan kept flirting with her husband. She pretended to be fine and followed Ji Chul to his office. While she was waiting there, Ji Chul asked his henchman to check up her profile. Then she drove her to the sea. He told her about his dream to build a new urban area. Junimo called Eui Jong. She couldn't pick up the phone as Ji Chul was there. They had a stroll along the beach. Ji Chul held her hand and posed a question. He wondered if she had never lived in Sung Ho's hometown. Eui Jong admitted that her father worked there for a period of time, so she commuted between two places for a long time. That was how she met Sung Ho. She stared deep into his eyes with her sincere. He was so confused. At that time, Yongdae called him. It was that Eui Jong's father worked in Sung Ho's hometown for a period of time. Actually, Do Hyun had prepared it in advance. Eui Jong kept a gun in her bag. After hanging up the phone, she held her breath and held the gun tightly. Ji Chul also kept a gun in his pocket, but took out a necklace and put it on her neck. She could sigh with relief. That means Ji Chul chose to believe her. To reinforce his belief, Eui Jong was honest that she admitted to check up on him when they first saw each other again, and she knew he was involved in Song Dong-hyuk's death. Ji Chul lost his cool and pulled over. Eui Jong said she believed he didn't commit a crime and neither caused the death of Song, but even if he did, she still chose to believe him and used her power to help him. She held his hand though she was still wearing a wedding ring. She told him I love you. He was very touched. They made out in tears. Right after that, he introduced her to his gang. Hee-sung couldn't believe that Ji Chul would marry a police officer. He reminded Ji Chul of taking precautions, yet, he completely trusted Eui Jong. He also reassured them that nothing would happen. Meanwhile, Junimo was taking Hae Ryan around the city. He showed her how to play the kids' games. Hae Ryan warned him when he tried to call his wife. Junimo dined with her and ignored all the calls. During the meal, Junimo asked her about her business. He wanted to give her his answer. Hae Ryan made him hurt her condition first. She would increase the quantity of drug for double payment. She demanded him to make his own decision. Money is the most important to do business. She liked him, so she wanted him to do business with her. To play a good role, he stayed with her in the same room. In the hotel room, they made out with each other. When Hae Ryan took his shirt off, he remembered his wife. He was well aware that he was doing something wrong to her. Fortunately, her bodyguard interrupted them. Junimo was saved from selling his body. Her bodyguard asked her to leave Korea immediately, because something bad would happen at night. During dinner, Ji Chul heard a noise. A group of thugs took down Ji Chul's men. Junimo came back there after hearing the news. The office's hall was filled with blood. The thugs tried to annihilate each other. In a state of chaos, Junimo saw Eui Jong. They looked at each other with anxiety. He didn't know why she was there. He seemed to lose his mind. He picked up a knife and stabbed the thugs. Ji Chul was also in a fight. Eui Jong was strangled by a thug. Ji Chul went crazy and took the thug down. Junimo also lost his mind. He stabbed until the thugs passed away. He took every single one of those thugs down. Eui Jong seemed to lose her soul when seeing her husband took those lives. Junimo had changed. He was covered with blood, and he took the life of the last one. Junimo gave a sign for Ji Chul to stay inside when they heard a sound from outside. Turns out that was Hae Ryan. Falling for Sung Ho, she had talked back to her father, and kept working with Ji Chul's gang. Ji Chul knew who wanted to end his life. Ji Chul and his gang went to find the one behind him was the Japanese secretary. Youngamo strangled the mercenary and disabled his ankle to take him down. Ji Chul required his adoptive father to say sorry for him in person. Tsuyoshi Oyama passed his words to Kanemoto. Kanemoto really came to Korea for a talk with Ji Chul. However, he still looked down on Ji Chul. Ji Chul decided not to work for him anymore. Kanemoto left in anger and fired his secretary. Ji Chul took Sung-ho to his home. Sung-ho asked him why he hated his adoptive father. He said that was the price he had to pay when almost taking Eui-jong's life. Junamo felt so uncomfortable. Nevertheless, he wouldn't give up. He asked Hae-ryan to help him meet Kanemoto. The following day, she took him out to the place of Kanemoto. He wished Kanemoto would let him replace Ji Chul, and Kanemoto wanted him to sacrifice one of his finger. He gave Sung-ho a knife. When he picked up the knife, Tatsuo Tsukiyuchi snatched it and stabbed Kanemoto. Tsuyoshi Oyama decided to usurp the throne. In the blink of an eye, he lost his position to his secretary. He had no idea that Tsuyoshi Oyama made a deal with Ji Chul in advance. Ji Chul entered the room surprising Sung-ho. Ji Chul was always heartless like that. They had exchanged too much for this mission. Eui-jong went to see Do-hyun after escaping from the bloody room. Do-hyun knew why she seemed to lose her soul. He still believed in Junamo. Despite his words, she couldn't stand it when going home. She looked at their wedding photo and remembered how Junamo proposed to her. They were happy together. He was an honest and kind policeman. Was the bloody-faced man earlier still her husband? She burst out crying with fear. Later, she received 2 voice messages. Ji Chul said sorry for what happened. He hoped she would forget about it and forgive him. The other voice message was from Junamo. He wanted her to withdraw from the mission for her own sake. He couldn't stop it immediately, yet, he would try to end it soon and return for her. Eui-jong felt stuck when her husband was swallowed up by this mission. After handling his adoptive father, Ji Chul had a drink with Junamo and told him that he would retire after the last delivery was done. And Sung-ho would replace him to lead the gang. Junamo felt so funny. He penetrated deep into the gang to arrest Ji Chul, but he was giving way to him. Was he burying the hatchet to marry Junamo's wife? The following day, Ji Chul took Junamo to the launch of his dream amusement park. Eui-jong was also invited there. Ji Chul and Eui-jong looked like a couple. Junamo couldn't be happy. Min-gu picked a quarrel with Ji Chul again. He kept asking Ji Chul about the drug transaction. He even challenged Ji Chul before leaving. Junamo called Do-hyun right after that. If they didn't stop Min-gu, their mission would be screwed. What they could do was to ask Min-gu's boss to stop him. However, he still continued his investigation. He even interrogated Junamo's father. He stuck like a limpet. Junamo's father was a cunning addict. Instead of telling Min-gu the truth, he blackmailed Do-hyun for that. Do-hyun realized how dangerous Min-gu was. Thanks to the intelligence source, Do-hyun found the girlfriend of Ji Chul's victim. He asked her to say something to Min-gu. Min-gu was interested in her information. After hearing this, Min-gu and his team stormed into Ji Chul's. Seo thought that was Junamo's scheme in order to make Ji Chul doubted Yungbei again. No one else but Seo knew Ji Chul took someone's life, so Ji Chul and Junamo decided to buy more drug in stocks for more money. Junamo revealed it to Do-hyun. They thought it would be the last transaction. Realizing Junamo was blind by the success, Do-hyun reminded Junamo of being patient. Recently, there were many homicides. Junamo couldn't forget that he was a police officer. As Junamo guessed about Seo, put some informant in the police station. Receiving a message from Ji Chul, Seo kept silent. That drove the officer up to the wall. Taking the chance, Junamo went to see Hae-ryan. He wanted a bigger source of drug. On the other side of border, workers became insensible when overexerting themselves to produce drug. Drug is death. This would be the last night to decide which side would win. Junamo and Ji Chul sailed to the sea. They returned to the shore after getting enough drug. Junamo left a note for his teammates before leaving. On the way of delivery, a truck crashed their car. The culprit was the blonde guy. He crashed them to steal the drug. Ji Chul tried to wake up Junamo. They escaped before the car exploded. The police heard about that. Their mission was screwed again. Ji Chul believed that it was Yungbei's plan. Hee-sung persuaded Ji Chul to stop. His safety was more important than money. All the cash and gold that Ji Chul had was stolen by Yungbei when the Chinese party asked for money. Ji Chul said they lost everything. Junamo suggested Ji Chul to hold Yungbei's family hostage. Junamo seemed way too insane, so Ji Chul asked him out. It was more complicated when Min-gu knew who Eui-jong was. Min-gu thought Do-hyun was Junamo. He said Eui-jong was cheating on him. Do-hyun asked Min-gu not to cross the line. They didn't know that Seo saw them from outside. Yongdae encountered Do-hyun a few times. They were sure that Do-hyun had Eui-jong investigated about them, so they threatened the girl the other day to lure Do-hyun to their office. Do-hyun went there without precaution. he felt something wrong entering the room. It was too late as Seo already waited for him there. He also told Junimo to come. When Junimo arrived, Do-hyun was bleeding all over his body. Seo was suspicious of Sung-ho's identity. For this reason, he would trust Sung-ho once he could get rid of Do-hyun by himself. Junimo couldn't pull the trigger. Junimo tried to explain, yet Seo just gave Do-hyun a shot in the head. Junimo lost his mind and combat the enemy. Min-gu stopped Junimo from ending Seo's life, yet Do-hyun was dying. He gave Junimo the last words, "Remember that you're a police officer, they just met earlier." Junimo was angry when they failed last night. He blamed Eui-jong for confusing him. Also, he shifted the blame on Do-hyun for putting him in this situation. Those were the last words Junimo said to Do-hyun. Ji-chul had no idea about that. He went to see Eui-jong and she seemed to have feelings for him. She asked him to stop for his own safety. Ji-chul couldn't drop his dream. Someone told him that Young-bae was present. When he came back to the office, the whole gang took side with Young-bae. All of the brothers and even close friends sold him out. Ji-chul pointed a gun at Young-bae. However, he couldn't shoot Young-bae. Min-gu witnessed that. Young-bae set it up as a reason for Min-gu to arrest Ji-chul. As soon as Eui-jong came there, Ji-chul was handcuffed. Junimo lost his cool for that. If Min-gu arrested him, his efforts would be meaningless, no matter what the prosecutor said. He made up his mind and drove away with his determination. He crashed the car where Min-gu and Ji-chul were in. Junimo decided to save Ji-chul out of there. Without Do-hyun, the chief prosecutor instructed the campaign by himself. First of all, the chief prosecutor arrested the suppliers to Ji-chul's gang. It would lead them to find the Chinese and Japanese ones. Indeed, they went to find Hae-ryan. When she realized Young-bae was the traitor, he was even proud of that. They wanted to work with her, though Hae-ryan didn't like them. She still gave them the contact of the Japanese party. She called Sung-ho when she left. He knew it in advance and asked her to do that. She got worried about what was coming. Min-gu still found a way to arrest Ji-chul in the hospital. He raised doubts when Sung-ho wasn't wanted. After finding out who Sung-ho really was, he immediately went to see Hae-ryan, and told her that Sung-ho was actually a cop. Hae-ryan was so confused, however. Sung-ho always tried to protect her, so he just called and asked her. He knew he was exposed. Whoever he was, she really liked him. She then went out to see Min-gu. Junimo gave her an advice: do not stay here nor return to China. Come to Hong Kong instead. And she just took Min-gu's life. That was what she could do to protect the man she loved. To protect her, her bodyguard got rid of Min-gu's partner. To make way for her to escape, as planned, the last transaction occurred. Junimo drove Ji-chul there to take back the drug. As soon as they arrived, he pointed a gun at Ji-chul and handcuffed him with the steering wheel. He then went out and arrested the whole gang. Ji-chul finally realized that the one he trusted the most was a cop. Junimo focused on taking Young-bae's gang down first. He left Ji-chul in the car alone. When they talked earlier, Ji-chul wished to start his life over. Junimo felt poor for him, and that was the last chance he gave Ji-chul. Both the Chinese and Japanese parties were under arrest. Only Hae-ryan could escape thanks to Junimo's suggestion. Endgame. Eui-jong asked Junimo if they could be like the way we were before. Ji-chul was waiting for her at her home. Ji-chul lost his hope when the one he loved and the one he trusted the most betrayed him. He wondered if she had feelings for him once. Eui-jong just beat around the bush. When he was about to end his own life, Junimo gave Ji-chul a shot in front of Eui-jong. He saw Eui-jong hug Ji-chul in tears. The case was solved. Do-hyun's death wasn't for nothing. Junimo was promoted as promised. Was it important anymore? He had exchanged too much for this mission. He joined the mission to be classed with his wife. When he reached the goal, his wife no longer loved him. Junimo visited Ji-chul's grave. He left his wedding there as if he gave Eui-jong back to him, and left in silence. At the end, we've seen the truth of the nightlife in a hustle and bustle city, as well as the consequences of drug, for both users and sellers. Even the officers ended up in sorrow. Goodbye and see you again.